And my dude, Matt Wilson, thank you so much for coming on the show, bro.
Yeah, you got it.
So you're in Ireland right now, right?
Yeah, I am in Cork, Ireland, here for the Jazz Festival, and of course, scouting out an under 30 experiences trip.
Yeah, dude. So a lot of people, if they don't already know you, I've already given you a little bit of an intro, but your first company was Under 30 CEO. A lot of great content out there for entrepreneurs. And now you've launched Under 30 Experiences, which is very complementary to Under 30 CEO. Do you want to talk to my listeners a little bit about it? Because I think it's awesome, dude.
Sure. Yeah, would love to. Yeah, like you mentioned, Under 30 CEOs, our website for entrepreneurs. We publish news, advice, interviews, stuff like that. And thank you for your contributions there, Brandon. And basically, 2.5 years ago, I got real sick of sitting behind my computer and not experiencing all the things that the world had to offer. And I took one little trip to Iceland and I was hooked. And I came back and said, wow, I need to do more of this. And not only do I need to do more of this, but why are all my friends spending the best years of their lives chained to their desks? And so if I could pay that experience forward to other people, just learning so much about myself, I was good to go. So we started we started a full-on travel company, and now we bring people to Costa Rica, Nicaragua, Iceland, Bali, Machu Picchu, down in Peru, literally all over the world. So we've been having a blast ever since.
That's sick, man. I know so many entrepreneurs, like we have this freedom. We can pretty much do whatever we want, but we just decide to sit in a coffee shop in our same town and just grind it out. And I'd love to hear your thoughts on breaking through that paradigm.
Yeah, honestly, I just see so many people thinking the same way as everyone else. It's almost like, when I graduated from school a handful of years ago, the cool thing was to try to get a banking job or a Wall Street job, or that was what was really cutting edge and how you got paid, et cetera, right? And now we're seeing that shift where people are like, all right, I want to get involved in a startup. I want to do more meaningful work. I want to move to New York or Silicon Valley or start something on my own, and or Austin or Boulder or wherever. But the thing is, it's like it's the same. It's almost the same steps. Getting into your accelerator, sitting at your co-working space every day, and to me, it was really cool when it was innovative, right? Like we started Under 30 CEO in 2008, but now we're starting to see the same things over and over. And I always say, man, how many more music sharing apps do we need? How many more picture photo sharers like snapgiggle.com do we need? What's something that is actually going to make an impact on people, and how can I look at what I want to do and create my own path instead of just following the regular, the startup path kind of has a go to write your business plan and go date a co-founder, try to find your developer, maybe check out a startup weekend, apply to your accelerator, get all stressed out trying to raise money for your angel round, et cetera. And so it's very laid out, which is fantastic, right? Like a lot of great companies are coming out of this, don't get me wrong. But I just really hope that people look at what they want to do for themselves and pursue that.
Yeah, man. I agree fully, definitely. I mean, if we get this freedom, you might as well take advantage of it, especially when you're choosing what you want to do. And I'd love to hear your thoughts on what is a holistic entrepreneur to you, and what role does travel play in being a well-rounded person and really taking advantage of being an entrepreneur that has freedom?
Yeah, so to me, as I said, listening to myself is really important. Normally, that voice that we have in our head is it's from other people, it's from society, it's from, a BMW commercial is why you want a BMW, right? Because that's been imprinted in your subconscious for so many years, and that's just how the world works, that your external world. But then once you start looking and asking yourself things from within and say, what do I want to pursue? For me to be holistic, right? it's pursuing those things that are within my DNA, within my primal instinct, listening to my intuition, and not just like for years I filled my head with all the, what blogger is doing this, who's getting the awards, what's the latest keynote about, well, if TechCrunch says it, I should be following that trend, like what's the hottest new social media thing, and now I'm so disconnected from all of that, that I feel like infinitely better about myself, and then the impact that I'm able to make where I actually have a clear mind. And then I'm able to say, okay, I'm pursuing things in the outdoors. I'm pursuing things that bring me closer to nature. But it's all, and it can be different for everybody. But to me, it's all about listening to myself.
Definitely. I think that's a great point you make about listening to yourself, because so much content you see out there is just so refurbished, It's the same thing. It's like if you type in like a catchphrase in Google, like, 5 best productivity hacks or something like that, and you'll see like the same articles like posted on all the major sites over and over again. And I love how you point out like looking inward. And I think traveling and getting connected to nature and really allowing yourself to think freely plays a large role in coming up with that innovative thought. And I'd love to hear your thoughts on like what is like, under 30 experiences, going on these like adventures. What kind of like innovation has come out of this, maybe from you and your experience, or people who have came on your trips and been able to come up with whatever, some aha moments or just new breakthroughs?
Yeah, I mean, so the trips are really simple. It's awesome people in an awesome part of the world. And so we don't go on tours, try to see all of Costa Rica, because, you'd spend all the time in the van instead of actually on the beach or getting a tan or, doing that self-exploration. But when you put all of these interesting people in a certain place and just kind of let the magic unfold and let it all happen organically, people take that step back from their desk job. People all of a sudden land and nobody's speaking their language. All of a sudden they have to, overcome things that they wouldn't in their normal day-to-day lives. If you're doing the same monotonous thing, taking the same way to work every day, until you really take a step back and then let your senses completely, when you travel, all of a sudden it's just new stimulation from everywhere, new sights, new sounds, new tastes, new people, just all of that is completely new to you, and that stimulates your brain. And so we see people have creative breakthroughs. We see people have just, personal breakthroughs and revelations and realizations, and, a connection with people who you wouldn't normally sit down and chat with. So we see all of that. And I experienced that myself personally. And then I said, wait a second. I think this works. And for years, right? It's a timeless, age-old thing. Everyone, from explorers, they've been going out and seeing the world for themselves, and been very inspired by it. So, I think travel is the best type of inspiration out there.
Yeah, dude, I agree fully, and I love it. I love your passion that I hear behind this, because it's not like you're just doing this for a business sense. Like it seems like you thought of what's like the most fun, coolest thing I could do that would really allow myself to grow and allow other entrepreneurs to grow, and you're pursuing it, and it comes through in your voice, man.
Yeah, absolutely. But then when you take care of yourself, when you are, when you feel like you're in shape, or you're eating the right foods, or you're giving your mind, feeding your mind the right things, putting yourself in the right type of environment, then you can feel fulfilled yourself, and then you can pay it forward. Then you can have positive impact on other people. But we all know when we're like in a shitty mood at home because we've been doing the same thing every day, and then we come home and kick our dog and yell at our mom, like that's probably because we haven't had the chance to be stimulated, or we're not fulfilled ourselves. So then there's no way to be able to spread positive impact on other people.
Amen. I'd love to hear. You're someone who's traveling all the time now. So how do you stay in habits and rituals that keep you moving in the direction you want to go in, and allow you to feel stable while constantly having a lot of uncertainty in your life?
So it's not easy. I will tell you. So I'll tell you that it's absolutely not easy. I really try. Actually, somebody laughed at me. At my co-founder, Jared. I actually was talking to him about stability, right? And I said, all right, well, I need a little stability in my life. And he was like, wait a second. You've been traveling on and off for 2.5 years. What are you talking about? I've never heard you use the word stability in your life. But actually, that's because I have so many healthy habits, because I have such grounded practices. It's what allows me to deal with such a high level of uncertainty. So when you're starting a business, there's so much uncertainty out there, right? You don't know, sometimes you don't know where your next meal is coming from if you're still in the eating peanut butter and jelly stage. Or, you have a high level of stress or all these things that entrepreneurs have to deal with. And then what do? They let their health, they let their physical and emotional and mental health go to shit, and then everything starts falling apart. But so the practices that I have that have really helped over the last, and this is a new practice for me, but over the last 6 to 8 months, I've been meditating every single day, and so that's really helped me find more clarity. Over the last 3 years, I've been doing yoga several times a week. So that helps. That's helped tremendously. That's like absolutely changed my life, right? But it's hard. I go from city to city. It's not always easy. I've actually very recently tried to get into Ashtanga, which you lead by yourself, right? Because the whole practice of meditation and yoga is all about, looking inward, like I've mentioned several times. And so you don't necessarily need a teacher. You just learn the sequence and then you can do it, wherever in your hotel room or in a park or who knows what, right? So those practices, I use the app BodyFit, BODEEFIT. Actually, another great person that you should have on the show is Adam Griffin. And he has this community it's similar to, it's high intensity workouts. So just like 15, 20-minute workouts, full on, kind of similar to CrossFit, but stuff that you can all do with your own body weight. We're actually teaming up with him for a fitness trip to Costa Rica in January. And so, I just use this app, figure out what the workout is. I'm gassed by the end of it. But when you're working out a lot, you need proper sleep. And so I really make sure, I try not to, I travel, but I try not to move every 2, 3, 4 days. I try to get in a place, get in a routine, stay there for a month if I can. But all of those healthy habits and, eating, I like to have a place with a kitchen where I can still prepare my own food because, you go all over the world and the foods that my body is used to are not necessarily everywhere in the world. So all those little practices just kind of make up, for a good formula for success, at least for me personally.
Yeah, man, it's funny. So it sounds like a big part of it is being able to do something that gets your physiology involved, at least every day or at least every other day.
I think mentally that to me is first and foremost. And sometimes I find when I'm traveling and I'm really stimulated already mentally that I don't feel like I have to work out as much. Or the last 2 winters I've lived in Costa Rica, I wasn't hitting the gym like I could have been. And I noticed my physiology changing, but I was also surfing every day. So it wasn't like I was, I guess I'm no couch potato, but again, I integrate the things that I love to do that, stimulate me mentally and physically into my life. So I've tried to design my life so that I can go surfing and I can go hiking, and do the things that I love to do because it makes me more productive in the long run when I do have to get in front of my computer.
Yeah, man. I think it's a big thing, transitioning that mindset of oh, I have to go do this kind of exercise versus I get to do it. And it sounds like when you're traveling and doing what you're doing, you get to do everything. You get to go for amazing hikes. You get to go surfing. You get to go try out new yoga studios. You get to just go explore and do things that are, they're exercise, but it's not like it's work. It's like you get to do it. It's exciting. It's fun.
Yeah, and then it makes your priorities so much different. And don't get me wrong, like I understand I have a crazy lifestyle where I travel all the time, but people at home can do this in their own cities. They just have to integrate these things. In your protein shaker or whatever. I've certainly been there. But it helps you prioritize because people always say, oh, I don't really have time. Well, it's not that you have time. Like, we all have the same 24 hours. It's whatever your priority is. But if your life is integrated into, like, if you find these healthy activities that make positive impact on yourself and are things that you enjoy, then they become a priority.
Definitely. So, Matt, I really want to ask you about something, man. You seem like a really chill dude, but you've grown this like massive blog, Under 30 CEO, and just has been killing it. Now you're killing it with Under 30 experiences. Have you always been so balanced and like chilled out, or like talk to me about that, man?
God, no. My hair used to be much shorter. I used to have a really, really high stress level. And honestly, that was only about a year and a half ago. And I used to, even my first year of traveling, I'm the type of person that tries to do everything, right? And I still fall victim to that. And I have the big to-do list. And, it's something that I've just really worked on so hard to be more relaxed. And also I've pulled myself away from that co-working incubator, high stress environment where people think they're the king of the world once they raise money for their startup, or they think that their new app is going to create world peace. And some of them are doing that, don't get me wrong, but most of them, it's an inflated sense of self-importance, and I was really bad with that. I was really bad with that. So just kind of like taking a real look at what I'm doing and say, wait a second, okay, I can relax a little bit, and that has helped me. That's helped my growth personally. But in the beginning, it was a lot of hustle. It was a lot of hustle and a lot of stress, and it's really difficult to circumvent.
Yeah. So yeah, do you feel like you could have built a company like you built, like while traveling and while like living such a balanced life, or do you feel like there's a couple years there where you just had to grind, you just had to do what you were doing?
It's funny. I see both sides of it, right? So my immediate answer is, yeah, I could have done it. The living on the beach and surfing every day and still doing, because I was still working out, I was still creating healthy habits, but I would not have the appreciation that I do now if I didn't have so many hardships, if I didn't have to grind so hard, if I wasn't as stressed as I was in the early days, because that's all the path, right, and the journey that leads you to realize, wait a second, I need to chill out, and I need to enjoy things, and like I taste my food when I eat because I don't look at my iPhone while I'm eating. Just little things like that. Once you start in all those little habits, but when I was grinding or when I was stressed, I wasn't there, like enjoying my life as I could. So I don't know. I think everybody's personal journey is different.
Yeah, definitely. So I don't want to put you on the spot too much, man, but I'm gonna low key. So a young hustler is coming up, right? And maybe he's just starting his business, and he loves the idea of like working remotely. Would you suggest like doing that and trying to travel, or would you say, hey man, like maybe you should just grind it out for the next like 6 months, year, get into a more stable position first?
It's hard. It's hard, and I think it comes down to listening to yourself, because I've done all the conference scenes, I've done all the speaking, I've done all the networking I could possibly do in my life. I've done all the grinding. I've worked out of 20 different co-working spaces. So I get it, and I feel like I have paid my dues, right? But that's what at the current time I was trying to, that's the life that I was kind of trying to live. And then I realized that wasn't for me. That wasn't who I truly was. I didn't need to like dress up in a suit and, be like these New York power kids. That just wasn't for me. And now I'm much, much happier doing my own thing. So I think to each his own. But, there's amazing communities all over the world with really tied in entrepreneurs, including people who work virtually in all sorts of places, from Medellin, Colombia to Thailand. And I don't know. It's all possible with internet and technology now. Like, you can find mentors, access to capital, all of that online.
Sure. All right, man. Well, I know your computer's about to die, so we're gonna have to wrap this bad boy up, man. But thank you so much for coming on the show, bro. And where can people find out more? I know under30experiences.com is a great place if someone wants to, an entrepreneur wants to travel. I'll let you describe what else you think people should do.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Under30experiences.com. If anybody would like to connect, send me an email directly, Matt@under30experiences.com. And hopefully we'll see you guys somewhere awesome soon.
All right. Thank you, brother. Take care, man.
Brandon, appreciate it.